Welcome everyone to Augment Expert Series. Augment Ventures is an early stage venture fund investing in mission-driven founders transforming foundational industries, making them more productive and sustainable. Today we are excited to celebrate Women's History Month, and we have invited one of our first backers, Michelle Crumm. She wrote the very first check for us, and we are so glad to have her on our podcast to share her journey. Michelle has a great story and a great background. She herself was a founder and decided to back other women founders and other entrepreneurs in the ecosystem. She's a community leader, and now she is also embarked on a journey to facilitate, particularly women, to manage, grow, and also preserve their wealth. So welcome, Michelle. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much. That sounded great. Thank you.
Michelle, so to get started, you have such a fascinating background, right? I mean, you had so many roles that you have played over the years. It would be
Yeah,
great if you would share with us your background, how you got started to begin with as a founder.
sure. I don't know that I ever thought of myself originally as a founder, but that's what it ended up being. So I started in public accounting. I always joke that I was a really bad CPA. It was really didn't fit my personality. Love CPAs. But then I ended up working at Kellogg's Cereal Company for a while in internal audit. And at the same time, I'm married to somebody that's getting their PhD at University of Michigan. And he says, "Oh, I want to start a company." And I'm like, "Sounds good, honey, go do it." And what happened after that was I ended up just kind of doing the human resources for the company, the business operations, the accounting. And so we were started having kids. And so now our family's growing, our company's growing. And so something had to give. So I did the really smart thing. And, he wasn't making any money and I was making all the money. So I quit my job because that makes sense. So I moved over, left Kellogg and moved over to Adaptive Materials after about 6 months after the start date of the company. And we ran the company together. So I worked on mostly the business operations and he worked on the engineering. So we ran that for 10 years. And 10 years is a really long time when you're building a company from scratch. But the two of us did it together. We were wonderful teammates in that journey. And people said, "How can you work with your husband?" And I said, "Well, why did you marry someone you can't work with?" So really just a matter of perspective, right? So we ended up selling the company in 2010 to a large UK-based defense contractor. And once we had sold, I was 40 years old and thought, well, I guess I can retire. And nobody's really retired at 40. So I was a little bit of an imposter and I needed to do something else. And I started looking around and I did some consulting. And then, of course, Sonali, I have known since since probably 2006, I believe. I mean, that might be when I met you, 2006, seven, something like that, mid 2000s. And we went for a walk and we were talking and she says, "I'm thinking about starting this company." And I'm thinking, yeah, I've got to fund this woman because we needed to give back. We need to make sure other people are successful. And I think one of our pride points, because I can fast forward 14 years since it's 2024, is we created a lot of entrepreneurs out of our company, Adaptive Materials. And so many of our leadership team went on and started other companies, which is, I think, kind of a pat on the back. It's kind of a proud parent moment for us, even though they were our employees. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a phenomenal journey. The people that came out of adaptive material and what you did at adaptive material and really created that value, which got distributed, across the community, even your charitable giving for that matter, right? I mean, you've been very gracious to the community here in Ann Arbor.
Thank you.
When we started, Michelle, and we've been friends for a long time, and I was like, getting frustrated, and he said, just do it, Sonali, just go for it. What motivated you? I was a first-time fund manager trying to build this, just like you, from scratch, and you just went through this journey and created that wealth for you and your family, which you clearly deserved after slogging for 10 years at least on paper, and, probably 15 since you guys have been thinking about, starting adaptive material, right? And so I was just wondering, what was your thought process? I think that is something I really want other enablers or funders to think about, that how to engage and how to engage with the broader ecosystem and continue to participate like you have.
Yeah, so the funder side of it, um, feels like a responsibility. If we do really well, we need to make sure other people do really well because we want a strong entrepreneurial ecosystem. And so, if you can give, you should give. It's just kind of whether it's the charitable giving that you talked about or just supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So, why you specifically, Aaron and I, we've known you for years before we wrote that check. And the tenacity, the brilliance, I mean, the love that we've had for you. I mean, you get in places that other people don't. You say things that other people might say, wow, she really said that. You just have this sense of tenacity and bravery that we don't always see in other people. And so, we just believe in you. And so, it wasn't even a question. You said you're going to do this. We're like, you need to do this. We need to help you get started. And we just believed in you. So, it's, definitely people. I loved that you really wanted to support women, and you and I talked a lot about this together over the years, how important it is to support other women, and women don't get enough funding. I'm sure you've talked about that at one of your other podcasts or in general. So, we do need to really spend extra time not attacking each other, but really building each other and supporting each other. And so it just feels an obligation or responsibility, and something that we love to do. And that it's you is, of course, we were going to fund you. So I'm always so honored when you say we were the first check, because I love that. I believed in you right away. I knew you could do this.
I know. I think we need to amplify. And that's the reason for this podcast. And that's why choosing you, Michelle, because of the journey and the risk that you have taken. And, when we see other women do these things, we actually not only amplify them, but we amplify the entire community. So our intent really is to enable other people to do more and be supportive of each other, and give an opportunity for everyone to have a voice. So, your journey has been so fascinating, like you said, after founding and slugging for many years, and, watching each other kids for babysitting between you and me. You took a little bit of a pause, and you were supporting a lot of entrepreneurs, you were consulting, you were advising. Now you have taken up a new journey, and you sort of formalized it under Believe. I was just wondering, how did you come to the next founder journey that you are, and what is your mission at Believe?
Yeah, so I think this is my most exciting personal journey yet. During COVID, I thought I was a CPA, and that never really was quite the right fit for me. But I always knew I wanted to do financial planning. So if I wouldn't have started Adaptive Materials, I think I always would have been a financial planner. And so I ended up taking a course at Boston University. Then I passed the CFP exam, and so excited. And I thought, okay, I'm done. That's the satisfaction I need. Well, then people started saying, hey, will you put a plan together for me? And I have such a passion for helping women with their money. No one talks about women with a lot of people don't talk to women about their money specifically. Families don't really talk about money. You're not going to learn about your personal finances at school, at undergrad, in college, in elementary school. I mean, we're just not talking about personal finance. Most likely women are going to outlive their husband, and a lot of times the man takes care of the finances, and so they don't know anything about it. So this was such a driving force for me to create Believe Financial. Isabel and Evelyn are my daughters. So Belle from Isabel, and Evelyn is Eve. So Believe became an obvious name to have kind of a woman focus. And so I do have clients that are couples, and
Mhm.
I think the husbands like to work with me as much as the women do. But I've noticed a common thread where the woman usually sets up the meeting,
Mm,
and are we a fit first meeting? And then
mm,
she'll say, okay, I'm the CFO of my family. And I'm like, that's great. Good
mm,
for you. Like, I'm already speaking to the right person. So I love how engaged they are, how much they want to learn. And I absolutely know I'm making a difference. So rather than sitting on more boards and doing some of that, which I'm still doing some of that as well, but
yeah.
it's just been so satisfying. And I'm just grateful that I have these amazing clients. And it's just a lot of fun to explain finances to them, help make sure they're on track. What's my number for retirement? When can I retire? How much can I spend? I love getting to the bottom of that and helping them figure that out. So I'm having so much fun with this company.
Oh, awesome, awesome. I think it is so fascinating to see that women who are at least 50% or 49 or 51, whichever stats you believe in, and
Uh-huh.
uh, people are not engaging with them at various levels.
Hmm.
Whether it is company formation or wealth preservation, wealth generation, and preservation for that matter, right?
Hmm.
And to see that you've done the entire spectrum that one would aspire to do as a woman is fascinating, Michelle, and kudos to
No,
you.
thank you.
And as you look forward, I think there are many moons and many suns you're going to cross. So, what is your what is your aspiration? What kind of a world would you like to leave for your daughters, Evelyn?
Well, we have to include Philip in there too. He's not part of the
Yeah.
name, and I'm still hearing about it. But anyway, um, you know, I I mean my daughters and my son, I mean, I want them to feel like they can do anything. I think one of the benefits that we have in our 20s is we don't know better. And so that gives us a lot of power to try anything and do anything. And so I love the fact I love helping people in their 20s because I don't want them to know any better. I want them to believe everything's possible in the world. As we get older, I mean, you and I are exactly the same age, Sonali. And
Yeah,
as we get
yeah.
older, we get a little bit more jaded. We're like, oh, this really can't get fixed or what. So I love the youthful, positive enthusiasm for life. And I want to just keep empowering young people to just believe that we can have a better, world, whether it's politics or environment or whatever your cause may be. And I think if each one of us takes on a little piece of it, it's going to get better. So I hope that I'll continue to grow my company. I love my business model. I love my message. I want to keep growing that company and continuing to help people. I have pro bono Mondays, so I help people on Mondays for free. Can't afford a financial planner because financial planners, we're expensive. And so it's important to make sure that we're giving back. So I do a lot of donations on, pro bono Mondays too, just to help people. But I want people to know that they are empowered to make a lot of decisions on their own and they have their own control over their life and whatever their vision is going forward. I want to help them achieve that from a financial perspective, probably even from a life coaching perspective. We get into a lot of that too, because how you spend your money is how you're spending your time and what you value. So kind of one big life. Hopefully that
Absolutely.
answered your question. I was a little overboard.
No, Michelle, that is fascinating. Your journey is fascinating and you're inspiring. I think my takeaway from your story is engagement. Just do it.
Yeah.
I think you are not a person to sit on the sidelines, and I think your message to women and just the community at large, entrepreneurial community and people who are doing is to get up and do it. I think when you engage in something, you make change happen and you have control over your destiny. And I
Hmm.
think that is the big message I take from you. And I will never forget what you said to me. And it's a great way to end this episode is Sonali, just do it. Who are you waiting for? Right. I mean,
Right.
just do it.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And, I hope many more will continue our journey together for many
Oh,
more years.
absolutely. Yes. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
we will.
Thank you for your time today.
All right. Thank you.